The views and opinions expressed within the video content found on the Indie Comics Network are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Indie Comics Network or its sponsors.
Most would agree that Disney's Renaissance movies are what kept Disney afloat. But the kids from the late 80s and 90s would like you to know that ducks, pucks, and even chipmunks are what kept Disney at the forefront. So come join the panel as we discuss after school and Disney afternoons, right now in Dispatches from Outside the Box.
In the spaces, things exist. In the lines that form the network of your mind. Behind the retinas of imagination are the particles and peripherals that made you who you are. Turn off, shut your eyes, and listen to Dispatches from Outside the Box.
And welcome to the show that scours the corner of geekdom to inspire you to create comics or anything else outside the box. I'm your host, C Michael Lanning, graphic translator, as the late great Will Eisner had put it. Done work for Arrow Comics, Hasm Productions, and many more to come. Before we start, I want to tell you to like, subscribe, share, hit the bell icon, tell a neighbor, shout it out from the rooftops. Come and watch and chat with us here at Dispatches from Outside the Box, because not only do we have the panel, but we have you, and we'd love for you to go ahead and fill our comments with any type of comments you may have. And speaking of commenting, hello, Mitch.
Hello. In ho ho ho. Merry Christmas. Happy Yule.
Yes, Mitch came for the Christmas special. I wish I'd have knew ahead of time. I wouldn't have done anything. I don't think I have.
I thought the Disney afternoon one was the Christmas special.
Oh, well, it could be. It could be. Why not? So tell us, were you affected by the Disney afternoon when you were younger?
Somewhat, but I was never much of. I never really raced home from school to watch them. They were usually just on after school, and that's what I would watch. Because at the time I was in elementary school, Batman the Animated Series was on at the same time. So usually I would watch what was there, whatever was left over after that was done on the other channels.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. See, I think for us, I think they came on the same channel, but I'm not positive about that. I can't remember. But
I know that.
But yeah, it's really kind of hard.
Yeah, one of them did. I remember at least one of them.
It's really hard to compete with Disney versus Batman, Batman versus Disney. It's like the age-old eternal struggle.
Yeah,
you go with Darkwing or Batman, Darkwing or Batman.
Which I did usually watch Darkwing Duck because I think that came on either before or after Batman. It was usually around the same time frame where I live.
They missed out. Yeah. It should have been a Darkwing Batman hour.
Yes.
It's, you had your competent vigilante and your incompetent vigilante, and it would have worked perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
Two sides of the same coin. Anyway, go ahead and introduce yourself. Let people know where you at, who you are.
I'm Mitch Rogers. I'm as C said, graphic translator. Haven't heard that in a long time. Creator of the Boger comic book series, which the second volume of Southern Gothic is out now via my website. And I also do other things here or there.
Just here and there.
Flesh and Blood collection. I have new stories coming out sometime next year. I haven't really decided when.
Awesome. Oh, look.
It's
Somebody
him.
would have loved to have heard Batman to say, "I am the terror that flaps in the night."
Well, he had something
It kind of
similar.
would have fit, though, right? It would have fit.
It would have been great. It would have been great.
I heard somebody was introducing a Darkwing Duck cosplay, right? And they said, "Oh, it's Batman's biggest fan, Darkwing Duck." Bullshit. Darkwing Duck would have hated Batman.
Yeah. I always took Darkwing Duck to be more of the Shadow than Batman. Probably.
Yeah, I can see that.
What
that's
Duck
probably
knows the evil that lurks in the shadows.
Yeah, right.
The
And,
Shadow knows.
Well,
No,
I
was
mean,
gonna
he
say
didn't really.
Darkwing.
He had the mask here, but he didn't have his persona or anything else like that. It was more Shadow-esque with the the scarf and I
Yeah.
guess that was.
He had the
right?
wide-brimmed hat, the cape,
Fedora.
Oh yeah.
the suit.
Yes, the fedora. Big old freaking fedora. I should have pulled my Darkwing out. I didn't even think about that. Anyway, Jared, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Jared.
Oh.
You'll have to forgive me because I'm getting over the flu. So I might have to pause or mute myself a lot from coughing. But I'm a geek, nerd aficionado. I know a lot and wish I knew a lot more. I am an aspiring comic book creator, and hopefully you guys will see what's to come. So, but that's me in a nutshell. This
You're
is
on
me
mute.
in a nutshell. See, shut up. You talk too much.
See, I
Okay.
hate that. I did something the other day. It's like muted. I was talking my freaking head off and like, why are y'all ignoring me? I wanna cry.
Normally that's what I do. So I'm glad it's not me this time.
Oh man.
It wasn't
But
like
yeah-
usual. We actually could not hear you. We weren't lying
Right.
that time.
So Jared, you were in the thick of it, man. You were there at the very beginning, in the middle of
Mickey Mouse? I'm not that
Disney
old.
Afternoon.
Oh, yeah,
The
yeah,
whole
yeah, yeah.
Disney Afternoon.
Yeah,
I was trying
back
to
before
think.
hockey cartoons came around.
Well, when you were asking Mitch if they were on like the same channel, I think that the Disney afternoon stuff was on ABC, and
Yeah, it
Batman was on Fox.
I remember Batman being on Fox,
Fox Kids.
but golly, I'm trying to remember because I remember all the you had your soap operas and then it'd drop off and then it'd be, and my memory's gotten so mixed up since I've gotten older. But
You're old. It happens.
yeah,
But I do want to say it was ABC. I could be wrong, but
When,
I think it was.
ABC, they did have, but they used to show, like I see later on in the Disney Afternoon, they would have Gargoyles like every other Friday or something on the Disney Afternoon. But I remember for us, Gargoyles used to come on at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I think
yeah,
it
that
was
was the mornings.
on
Yeah.
ABC when it was doing it for us.
It did here
Or the-
here with me also.
Yeah.
I usually watch an episode before school on I think Fridays.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was that one that if you were a Star Trek fan, you had to watch Gargoyles, right? I think I say that because I used to think that Goliath was actually played by Avery Brooks, but somebody as equally, if not more wonderful, Mr. Avery, Keith David. So, but Rodney, were you
Goliath
familiar with,
was Keith David.
Yeah. Rodney, were you familiar with the Disney Afternoon?
I was. It was a little after my time, but I would still, when I would get home from work sometimes, when I wasn't working overtime, they would be on, and I would just flip them on because, they were there and they were cartoons, and I liked cartoons. And I remember the Gargoyles being on in the morning, so I never got to see Gargoyles.
Yeah, it was rough. If you weren't up in time, or if it was at that point where you had to be at the bus stop within so many times, you were going to miss it, really.
Right.
It was rough, which was sad because I think it would have had a bigger following had it had a better time. You know,
Considering it wasn't necessarily a child's cartoon.
Well, yeah,
Right.
that's
I mean,
that's.
but
I don't.
it tracked with some of the darker stuff like X-Men and Batman at the time. And those were X-Men, I think, was Saturday morning, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it would play in the afternoon, but mostly it was Saturday morning.
So if you had put Gargoyles like at the afternoons, like right after Batman, I think that would have had a deep impact.
Yeah, I agree.
For Gargoyles.
Yeah.
Which there's a cult following. And Jordan
It
Peele wants to
lasted a
make a
long
movie,
time.
and we're begging everybody to please go sign the petition so that Jordan Peele does not make a Gargoyle movie.
I didn't know that was a thing.
It's not, but it will be after this. Anyway, Rodney.
Guillermo del Toro.
No,
He's
we
better
want
than
some
Jordan Peele.
story. Hey, Rodney. Rodney, go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
Hey, everybody. How we doing tonight? I am Rodney Fyke. I am a graphic translator as well for Hasm Productions on such titles as Roadkill Rampage and Pitter Patter. Go to Hasm.com. That's HAZZUM.com and check out all of our books there, as well as Facebook, Instagram, and the Twitch. Rodney Fyke Art there.
The Twitch.
The Twitch. You
The
can also
Twitch.
find me right here on the Indie Comics Network on Thursdays for Thursday Night Throwdown, and on Saturdays as well for Sketchy Saturdays. So come check us out there.
Catch him on the Twitch as long as there is a Twitch, right?
For as long as there is a Twitch, right?
Anyway, the chat's lighting up. I need to get over here and say hello to everybody. Donna, who was here, our very first, saunters in and finds a seat. So hello, hello, Donna. And then Carl says hello. And then this person decided to finally show up. Hi, guys. This, of course, is that producer person back there. Allison's on here. Hello, Allison. Hey,
Hello,
everybody.
Allison.
Allison's going to be drawing Batgirl this Friday, but not the Barbara Gordon Batgirl. This Cassandra Cain. Now, is that the one that had the mask
full
over her
face.
face?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got the
Yeah,
photographic
I-
memory. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Well, she was
That's
trained
cool.
to be
You
a
don't see that.
killer.
Yeah.
So she's the
Yeah.
Taskmaster?
Well, sorta.
Kind of.
Was it?
They ruined her in the movie. I will say that.
I think Damian Scott was the penciler on that book, if I'm not
He
mistaken.
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So that'd be cool to see. How many people? Most people go to the Barbara Gordon Batgirl. I never understood that. It's like that Batgirl movie that we shall not speak of. It would have been cool to see Cassandra Cain as that Batgirl, right? I mean, go ahead.
well, they
let's
had
do
her
that.
in that universe. They had her in the Birds of Prey movie, basically as the kidnapped victim, which
Yeah.
is completely non-Sandra Cain or
Wait,
Cassandra Cain.
was it really? You know that didn't. I didn't. You're
They-
talking about
Her
the.
name was Cassandra Cain in the Birds of Prey movie.
Oh my gosh! I'd never put that together.
In name only.
Yeah. Yeah, because the real Cassandra Cain
there was
wouldn't
no
have
way.
even been kidnapped. She would have kicked their ass.
Oh hell yeah!
single-handedly.
Oh my gosh! Oh man, that made that movie like just it was here, or rather it was here, and now it's just like well, you can't even
Yeah.
see it, it's just off the screen. Man.
It was never there.
It fell
It
off
was
the
never
cliff.
there.
It was never there.
Well, what's sad about that movie is you did have some really great actresses and actors that were part of that. I will never say that was Zaz though.
I like
Never,
Margot
never,
Robbie.
never.
That's all that I liked about it.
I feel like Margot
all I like.
Robbie should never have been Harley Quinn.
I think she's overdone at this point. Both Harley
Well,
Quinn
she-
and Margot Robbie.
Harley Quinn is, but she should have been Tank Girl. That's
Yeah.
That's how I feel about that. And now she can't do it because it'd be compared to Harley Quinn too much.
Would you have thought that before she played Harley Quinn?
What? That's Tank Girl? I don't know. I didn't know her before Harley Quinn. So, that's
That's the thing. It's
But I have heard. I remember that Australian commercial, like the Son of Crocodile Dundee, that came out. It was
Oh, yeah.
Danny McBride was like the son of right. Danny McBride is the son of Crocodile Dundee. That's never going to happen. It
I
was
like Danny
basically in
McBride.
Australia. Well, it was basically an Australia advertisement, right?
come to
So,
Australia.
Yeah.
Put a shrimp on the bobby.
Come to the-
don't say
You come to the country/continent where everything literally wants to kill you.
Drink a
It's
can
kinda
of
like that.
Foster's.
It's kind of like that meme, right? Where you have Obi-Wan Kenobi fighting the big bug, and it said what everybody thinks Australia's like. And then it's the same picture, except Obi-Wan saying cunt. It's kind of like cunt at it. It's like what Australia is actually like. It's like, yeah, no, you can keep it. Funnel spiders? No, thank you. Jellyfish, whatever the case is. Freaking kangaroos will kill you there. Screw that.
You know how the kangaroo got its name? That's a funny story. Well, yeah, but I'll tell it after the show. It's kind of you're already on too much of a tangent.
Let's say Carl says,
well, 95,
yeah, by the time
I
those
was
shows,
working too. So
yeah. Carl says, yeah, by the time those shows came on, I was probably working a job. But the good thing about those shows, Carl, is you might have been working a job when Jungle Book came out, but I doubt it. But they were familiar characters, right? You had Tailspin, which had Baloo, Louie, and Shere Khan. Then you had Chip and Dale, and you had Scrooge. So you could be familiar with those characters even though you didn't know. I used to think, in my naivety, that Scrooge was actually created to be Ebenezer Scrooge for the Christmas Carol. Little did I know about Carl Barks, and all that. Of course, I'm young, right? Or I was young. Not so much anymore.
Compared to some folks, you're still young.
To some folks, my kids tell me I used to ride dinosaurs. I'm like, I wish.
Don't be badass.
Uphill barefoot going to school. We did.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Shoes. What
I
are
wish
shoes?
we had
We didn't need
dinosaurs when we
shoes.
were young. Holy crap!
But yeah, that's the thing about those shows is, for instance, what I didn't realize was Rescue Rangers, which is Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers, right? That was actually going to be a Rescuers TV show.
Really?
They didn't want to. But Rescuers Down Under had come out, and they didn't want to make it that close, so they ended up substituting. What was it, Bianca and
crap. I've seen that movie I don't know how many times. Bernard and Bianca.
They did. So they substituted them for Chip and Dale, right? So, but somebody pointed it out that I never realized Chip and Dale are dressed like Indiana Jones
and
Magnum PI.
Yep.
I seen that meme, and I'm like, I knew that without knowing it. It's just one of those things that goes without saying,
Yeah.
Well, those were like the two biggest like adventurer type people out at the time, or
absolutely
coming off of that generation, because you had the Indiana Jones movies and Magnum PI the show, which Tom Selleck was supposed to have been Indiana Jones originally.
Yes.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know that.
Yep.
And thankfully before the Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
I don't know. Harrison Ford has that right amount of tinge to him that just. I don't think Tom Selleck would have been too smooth, I think.
I love Harrison Ford. He's one of those guys that are completely – he's an actor. He's definitely an actor. He's one of those guys that's completely different on screen than he is, say, in an interview. In an interview, he's laid back and just seems like he's high all the time.
He probably is.
Yeah, he probably is. But I remember seeing Letterman back when I was like 12, and Harrison Ford was on there. He looked all shy and just laid back. He didn't know what to say. I'm like, what's wrong with you, Indy? Talk. Where's that charisma?
One thing that Harrison Ford said that I take into writing or creating a character. Somebody asked him, what's the key to good acting? And he didn't give a definite answer per se, because you really can't, right? It's a craft like anything we do, right? Everybody has their own way of doing it. But he said he thinks it's empathy. He thinks showing an amount of empathy or having an amount of empathy to these characters helps you to embody them. And I think that kind of goes across the board, right? When you're creating a character, when you're writing a character, having the empathy of how that character feels is really going to help convey a better story.
Yeah.
So he said that, I can't remember what, it was an interview. It might have been a Letterman for that matter. But that's always stuck with me. Yeah, like you wouldn't think Harrison Ford has like this craft about him where he's like this master actor. But he's an onion, man. He's got layers.
I saw him in an interview when Force Awakens came out, You know, someone was trying to like play the nerd card with them, you know, and he goes, "So who shot first? Was it Greedo or Han?" And Harrison Ford looks at him and goes, "I don't care."
I also liked it when he asked why he did Force Awakens. He just looked up money.
There you go. So
He
many
legit
layers.
said he just looked
So
up
many
and kind of had that little corner smirk, and he goes, "They paid me money."
Well, no, but see, the thing about it is, Mr. Vaporize says Harrison Ford, an onion man. There you go.
If he was Australian, he'd be a bloomin' onion.
He'd be,
Oh.
okay, wow.
Ooh, I want one now.
But I think it was really because he wanted to kill off Han Solo, right?
Oh,
he
yeah.
wanted to do that. Like,
Yeah, that was his agreement with
I don't
George.
know who hated
is if
Star
he
Wars
came-
more, him or Alec Guinness.
Well, yeah, that was his agreement with George. If he came back to play Han, he was going to die in that movie.
yeah.
He could have died a more heroic death, though. But that's just
yeah.
me.
He could have, but he was playing the empatty card.
They could have
That's
made a
another
better
show
They
for
could have
another
made a
time.
better trilogy, but that's
They had a
That's
good
2023
trilogy. It's called, it's called the Thrawn trilogy. That was the best trilogy. That wasn't a movie.
That's
was
a
the perfect
that's a
sequel
2023
series.
problem. Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
Anyway,
They're trying. Yeah. Well,
Disney
anyway.
cartoons.
We're not- Disney cartoons, right? Well, I guess it is Disney now, right? We're talking about.
Yeah, they're coming out with afternoon cartoons.
it's all Disney all the
all Disney, everything.
24/7. I love you, Disney.
So, but I mean, those were
We
they
love
were
you.
recognizable characters. They were recognizable,
Yeah.
personalities and stereotypes. So, Donna says it was early show movies, then the Flintstones after school for me. And Allison says Darkwing was definitely the Shadow and the Sandman.
Yeah, she's probably talking about the Wesley Dodds
Yeah,
original
yeah.
Sandman.
I can see
Okay.
that.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Hello, Ephraim.
That's good.
Efron.
The
Yeah,
Matt
but so-
Wagner, Steven Seagal series from the 90s was awesome. Sandman Mystery Theater. If you ever get a chance to read the back issues.
Yeah, it seems as though there's just like trying to keep up with all your Sandmans. It's just seems like it was
It's
kind
the
of a hard thing to-
90s. You had equal crap as you had good. So
right?
It's like the Spider-Mans today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Allison says Disney owned ABC, so that track's talking about Disney Afternoon. Rodney just low key said, "I'm way more mature than you kids."
that's why he's laughing, because he didn't mean it.
Anybody who knows me will never accuse me of being mature.
I think everybody hated that movie. I'm all for making changes, but keep the spirit of the characters. That's why I say if a character changes, it's not that character anymore, right? I mean, it's just not.
It goes in the whole spirit of two things. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And two, it was made in the sake of woke culture, and not everything deserves to be woke.
No,
It depends on the story. If it's good, roll with it. But that story was garbage. Whoever wrote that, I hope they don't have a job anymore.
Which one are we talking about? There's so
We're
many.
talking about Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey.
Oh, God, yes.
Worst part of Disney Afternoon, in my opinion.
Wait, you know what? Okay, so then they come back. So then they come back with Rescue Rangers, and instead of doing an actual Rescue Rangers movies, like in the style like G-Force or whatever, they decided to do this whole Roger Rabbit thing with it, right? Have you seen this?
G-Force, you mean Battle of the Planets, or?
No, G-Force was the gerbils that were like secret agents.
Oh, I didn't watch that. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, I think we lost Mitch.
I think his brain blew.
Was
Rescue Rangers,
was,
Roger Rabbit.
wasn't Richard Gere in that Gerbils movie?
Oh wow!
Hey, I'm here all week, folks.
That's what the G stood for. Gear,
Exactly.
Here,
force.
but no, so they did it. But I mean, if you were going to do a Rescue Rangers movie, right? They were already in the real world, or in the people world, right? So why not just do a Rescue Rangers movie? Why not just do one to where you had the effects and they're solving crimes or whatever the case is? They decided to do this whole thing where and I didn't see it, so I'm talking about it like I saw it, but I didn't want to see it. But like everything's behind the scenes, and everything's behind the scenes. Hey, Mitch.
I don't know what happened. I think it was when I was insulting Disney.
Oh, right. That's what happened.
Disney said they can't have that, sir.
You know what I was talking about, right?
We love you,
That
Disney.
Rescue Rangers movie that came out?
The horrible one that came out like last year.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it.
Ugh.
What's
That one. I just came out. Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet.
No, I haven't seen it either. But
Yeah.
I
it's
don't
like
plan
live-
on it either.
Mixed with live action and all
Yeah,
that funky stuff.
Well, you
I'm
could have
surprised
done
Chris
that,
saw it because it has Seth Rogen in it for like a second.
I did not see it, actually.
Oh, you didn't?
To be honest with you, I saw enough of the trailer to know I did not want to see it. So,
Nostalgic
But-
reasons is why I'd see it. So
did
I
you
don't
watch
have
it?
Disney Plus,
No,
so I
no.
really don't care to watch it. And everyone went
Yeah,
quiet.
they did it. No, I'm going to show.
Oh.
I'm going to put it up here. So they did it, like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and it was basically they were part of this show that was really popular, and I don't. There's no sound, so you'd be all right. But so basically, it was really popular.
Is that the cat from Paula Abdul's
Yes.
music video?
I think that was Paula Abdul, wasn't it? So
Well,
they
she
were
needs
really
the money.
famous, and they were really popular,
Top Cat.
and then Fat Cat, huh?
Top Cat.
Oh, the cat for the I don't know. That wasn't it was a character created for that video, huh? The cat?
I think they named him Top Cat.
Ah.
It's been a couple thousand years. I don't know.
But so they basically did this to where it's a cartoon and Lonely Island. There's
The
your problem.
Lonely Island. Oh, you've sunk so low.
And don't get me wrong, I like the Lonely Island all right, but this is just not.
Where's Chipmunk in a box?
Yeah.
Yeah, why don't
But
they have
that's
a
what I'm saying.
boat?
Like look at Chip.
I chipped.
Not
in
Chip,
my
I'm sorry,
pants.
Dale. I can't tell, You look at Dale, it's like you could have done this. You could have done it, and it would have been the same thing, but you decided to do something stupid with it.
Chipped in my pants.
Yeah, they could have done it like an episode of Rescue Rangers as a movie. That
Yeah.
would have been perfect.
Exactly. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, why they felt the
It's
need
like-
to even consider any part of it be live action. Just do what worked 30, 20
Yeah.
years ago.
Well, you could do it like live action, just make the storyline like the show.
Not suck.
Yeah. You don't try to, do Who Framed Roger Rabbit again. You've already done that movie. It was good. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
Like Jared said, if it's broken, don't fix it.
Pretty much. I think they wanted to have like a Who Framed Roger Rabbit for nowadays, I guess. I don't know what the deal was with
Well,
that.
make a second one.
Well, Bob Hoskins is dead now.
Well,
so.
They own his face and his voice. Disney can bring him
Oh,
back to life.
Don't say it, dude. Don't say it. So this was the first. So who remembers this? This was the first. This actually was the predecessor to. This was the predecessor to the whole Disney afternoon.
Yeah, I loved it.
It
I was
lasted
there
for
for
like
it.
6 seasons before the Disney afternoon even came. It was like 5 seasons in, and then the first season
still
of the Disney afternoon.
I'm still waiting on
It
my
lasted.
gummy berry juice, so I can bounce here and there and everywhere.
Well, it was really hard because you watch this and you see Garfield. The tubby one was Garfield's voice. Lorenzo
Oh, the
Music.
voice, yeah.
Mhm.
Tubby, which was
Yeah,
his
he was
name.
also Vinkman in Ghostbusters.
Yeah, sure was.
Yeah,
Which I thought was ironic when Bill Murray did Garfield.
yeah, I see that, Rick and Morty. So this was created by the not so late, maybe not so great. Golly, Eisner, not Eisner.
Katzenberg?
Michael Eisner.
Yeah.
No, Katzenberg doesn't have a creative bone in his freaking body. It's just-
Disney, he said it, not me.
Don't get me wrong. Look, well, no, Katzenberg was fired from Disney, actually. But no, when the guy went in there, he didn't like the Black Cauldron. He wanted them to re-edit the Black Cauldron, which is not something you can really do with cartoons, right? And you think if you're part of the animation department, you should probably know that. And it took Eisner to go in there, Michael Eisner to go in there and calm him down, right? Carl says, "Don't give Disney any ideas; they will animate everyone." So,
Well, they already own everybody, so might as well.
Right. But so Katzenberg Woodley wasn't a creative force behind Disney. He was more. I remember, like, oh golly, why do you do this to me, Mitch? Jim Henson.
I like to see you suffer.
But I remember, like researching the Jim Henson stuff months back, where they were talking. Eisner's the one that brought Henson in. Henson wanted to join Disney. Eisner was kind of talking him into it. If it wasn't for Eisner, you actually wouldn't have even gotten the Muppet Show. That's a whole long story, right? And I guess I like Eisner, but because I talk about him a lot. But
well, compared to Bob Iger and that last one they had, it's pretty good.
He always had a calming voice. You know, he seemed like a nice guy. I don't know. You know,
it all. You know what happens? It all depends on what side of what side you're on, right? If you're on the side of the barrel, if you're on the receiving end of the gun, you're not really wild about him. If you're on the other side, being protected by it, you love him. So I mean, it's all relative, right?
Yeah.
But so basically, Eisner was the one that was kind of hitting the creative force on that, for the most part. Like Katzenberg brought in, like we were talking back scenes that Howard Ashman, who had done Rocky Horror Picture, not Rocky Horror Picture Show, damn it, Little Shop of Horrors. Yes, had done what? I guess they kind of have the same type of a cult feel to them. But Little Shop of Horrors for the big screen for Broadway came in, did Little Mermaid. He brought Howard in, but then he hated most of what Howard did. And it's like, yeah, you have no idea what the hell you're talking about, man. And then he wanted to be president of the Disney, and that's when Eisner got rid of him. So, like, no.
So what does he do for DreamWorks?
I think he's just one of the founders.
Question. Yeah.
Because it's him, Steven Spielberg, and someone else.
David Geffen, huh?
Yeah, David Geffen. Yeah.
David Geffen, right? Yeah. Yeah. Like, I feel like Katzenberg was the little brother they couldn't shake. Just all right, you could be a part of it. I don't care. I don't care if he likes me or not.
Well, to be honest, they're probably the best, I guess, rival to Disney as far as animation goes nowadays. I mean, I'm not saying they're better or worse. I'm just saying they're perfect rival.
What I'm thinking of is, though, as far as they're concerned, though, what do they have other than that stupid Zoom one? What's it called? With the I like to move it.
Oh, Madagascar.
Madagascar, yeah.
Well, I think they also did Shrek, if I believe.
Oh, they did do Shrek.
They did.
What about the
How to Train Your Dragon, Madagascar,
Yeah.
Kung Fu Panda, Trolls, The Bad Guys, Puss in Boots.
I do like Puss in Boots.
Yeah,
Shrek was actually was a punishment. Like, if you did something
Baby.
wrong on one of the other, oh my gosh, anybody that put Alec Baldwin in a kids movie role.
They did a lot of stuff. The Bee Movie.
You're not helping it. You're not helping. Okay, but let's go look into Illumination, right? And then Illumination has the Lorax, Despicable Me, 1, 2, 3, Too Many. The Minions movie. They did do. Was it who was the one that did Horton Hears a Who? Was it? It was Illumination there too.
Probably. Because if they did the Lorax, then they probably did that also.
Let's see.
If they were real big competition, I'm sure Disney would have bought them out so long time ago.
Yeah.
But so anyway, so Eisner comes up with gummy bears because it's his daughter's favorite snack. So you get gummy bears. And so it basically leads into, okay, this is doing well. They haven't, the afternoon, because at that point in time, there's not another Disney cartoon that's on. You had your Disney shorts, you had your Mickey Mouse shorts, you had your Donald Duck shorts here and there, but
Right.
you didn't have a solid Disney show, especially on network television. Now, I don't think Disney Channel was around then, but I'm not positive. Like, Gummy Bears came out in 87?
It's probably close around to it starting, but I'm not sure if it started at that moment.
Yeah, it came out in 85. So Disney Channel, but remember when Disney Channel came out, and I bet you, I know Rodney would remember this. It was a paid paid channel.
Sure
Yeah.
was.
It was,
Yeah.
they kind of had the same thing that HBO did back in the day, where where they'd have like a free, not like a trial, but they'd have it for free for everyone for like a week.
Yeah, like on a Memorial Day and Labor Day weekend, it would be free. 4th of July weekend.
Launched in 1983. So
Yeah.
So it was already around when I almost said Care Bears. Gummy Bears was around.
The Gummy Bears might actually have been kind of be a rip off or a rip of the Care Bears too, for that matter.
But they were different. They were different.
They were very different. Yeah.
They bounced.
Care Bears were on acid.
They bounced.
They didn't have little symbols on their bellies.
No, they were kind of rude for the most part. Didn't one of them hate humans? I think one of them.
Wouldn't you
really
if
didn't like
you
them.
weren't human?
I am a human and I don't like humans. So I mean,
It checks out.
So it was kind of a gamble to put a cartoon out that didn't have any type of affiliation whatsoever to a movie, to a show, or anything like that. But it hits. It's hit. It used to come on at 3:00 in the afternoon. I remember because it was the first one that came on before whatever else followed it, right? And I want to say it came on NBC. It had an NBC feel to it.
Because Disney didn't buy ABC until the early 90s, I believe.
Yeah, it was later on. Yeah, because you had your I think they bought ABC towards the end of the Disney afternoon, because then you had the one Saturday morning and all that. They bought
then
Doug.
You had why
they bought Doug, I don't understand.
Wonderful World of Disney kind of came back for a little bit there on Sundays.
Yep, hosted by. That's probably why I like Michael Eisner, right? Because he brainwashed me. It's kind of like what Disney did with his show, right? Everybody loved Walt Disney.
Disney bought ABC in 1995.
95.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember when they bought them, because they made a rule, all the sitcoms that ABC had, they had to go to Disney World. So
they did,
Roseanne,
right?
Family Matters, Step by Step, they all spent and it wasn't like one episode. There was like a 2 or 3 episode arc where they all were at Disney World.
Like, what the hell happened to Disney World? You're like, I don't want to go to Disney World. Shit always happens. Oh, that's another one to put on the list is TGI Fridays.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Another one to put on the list is kind of dark is all the people who've died in Disney World and Disneyland.
That's not inspiring, Mitch. However, if you go look at the Ghost of Terror of Tower of Terror, it's kind of creepy. Where you see there's like a ghost sitting up there on just the side of the building, just kind of swinging his legs, and it's not a hologram. So whatever the story is behind that, or the Disney walking through the park ghost, that's another episode altogether, isn't it? So anyway, Gummy Bears comes out. But what really hits and brings Disney to the forefront and ends up becoming such a monster on network television is the next show that they come out with.
Woo!
And I should probably have put that in there. Yeah. And we can't play the song, but you won't have to. Let's be honest.
You
Can we
can
sing
hear it
it?
in your head.
Can we sing it? Can we all sing it along? Sing together?
We could, but I don't know if I know all the words. I probably know them all wrong.
I bet you do.
I bet.
I don't know any of the
Life
words.
is like a hurricane. Wait, I thought we were all going to do it.
Dun, 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 dun.
You guys go ahead. I don't know the words.
One thing I know is DuckTales. Woo!
Woo.
Yeah, right. So that's what. Oh my gosh, this is an
Oh, that
older
was the
version
later
of-
episodes.
Yeah. I forgot all about that character. Somebody was watching something. I was watching a sitcom and they were watching DuckTales. Because it took place in the 90s, so they had to have something from the 90s on, right? And that character came up, and I was like, I totally forgot that character even existed. It's
I
kind of
can't
like the
remember
cousin
his
Oliver of I don't.
Which
It's like
one?
the cousin Oliver of DuckTales.
The cave duck.
It's the cave duck, yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant the guy with glasses and red hair.
Oh no, that's Gyro. I bet you Allison knows, don't you? Gyro
Duck?
Oh no, what is his
Gizmo
name?
duck?
Spyro Gyro.
But he wasn't
A
Gizmo
robot.
Duck,
No.
right? I thought he was Gizmo Duck, but he wasn't Gizmo Duck.
No.
Gearhart. Gyro Gearhart, I think was his name.
Yeah.
But these characters were actually characters that were in the Carl Barks, comic, right? So
Way back in the day.
I don't think Launchpad was. I'm pretty sure Launchpad was a creation for DuckTales. But
Yeah,
Gyro
I think he
was.
was.
Who's the
And-
who's the orange cat with the big red nose? He was in the clip. at the
Oh,
beginning of the show.
Bonkers.
Bonkers. That's right. I couldn't remember his name.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that in the beginning there, and I never saw that.
Yeah, but
Was
was
that
it
his-
Gizmo Duck?
Was that his own show or?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It was kind of the same premise as Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It's a world where cartoons and humans live together.
Oh, okay.
And he's
It was
a
his-
cop with the fat guy with the mustache.
It
Can't
came
remember
a
his name.
lot. It came a lot later.
Yeah, it was like mid to late 90s.
Let's see here.
No, okay, so Gizmo Duck, I'm trying to see. Gizmo Duck was Fenton Crackshell was presenting as a civilian out of Gizmo's suit. Let's see. I'm trying to see because I used to think that Gyro was Gizmo Duck, but somebody told me he wasn't. So I'm kind of doing a little bit of research here. The Gizmo Duck,
Yeah,
in case
Bonkers.
nobody, we kept saying Gizmo Duck, like maybe people don't know who Gizmo Duck is.
He's the big robotic looking guy with the wheel.
So Bonkers
It was
only
cool.
lasted for a
Have you
year.
seen the cosplay Gizmo Duck where he's like riding on a scooter and everything?
No.
It's actually pretty cool. It looks like we could totally have a Gizmo Duck movie, right?
We could, but do we want one?
If it's not live action, we
that's
don't want it.
a real question.
It's not
Well,
live
no,
action or
No, Jared, you forgot the formula. We got to have live action and 2D together.
Okay, you're right.
Well, okay. So what if they did like a Fenton Crackshell? Yeah. What if they did like a Lion King on this thing, right? What would we?
No, God,
That'd be
no.
interesting.
Please, no. Jesus, heaven.
Don't give them ideas.
Okay, Rodney, there you go. CG, 2D, real D.
They had that. It was called Rescue Rangers. They had that already.
Straight to Disney Channel.
It's not Disney Channel anymore. It's straight to Disney Plus.
Yeah, straight to Disney Plus.
Disney Plus. Yep.
Is Disney Channel even around anymore?
I'm sure it
Yes.
is.
Launchpad McQuack was the other crossover character. Now, the thing about Launchpad McQuack And of course, she says this famous line: "If it flies, I can crash it." Another line that I liked my launch pad was, "Any crash you can, any landing you can walk away from is a good one."
That's words to live by. It really is.
That was right. That's
I
right.
can't argue.
But
with
he
that.
was,
Yeah.
but he was big. Like Launchpad was a huge character, even to the point at one point in time they'd actually thought about giving Launchpad his own show.
They did.
Problem-
They did.
Did
It
they
says
do it?
Launchpad is a pilot introduced in Disney's 87 to 90 television series DuckTales and later featured in its 91-92 spinoff. Oh, Darkwing Duck as the Duragonist, whatever that is. He
Bless
worked
you,
for
sir.
Gesundheit. He worked for Scrooge McDuck as his pilot and later became
Yeah.
Darkwing Duck's sidekick in the later show.
Right. I don't. That's what I'm saying. I think
I
they were
was
going
shocked
to
they never
make, like,
gave
a
Gizmo Duck.
series on-
I was kind of shocked
Gizmo
he didn't give Gizmo Duck his own show because I remember when he first premiered, it was like one of those pilot episodes where it was mainly him. You know, they call him a backdoor pilot.
Right. Yeah.
He did show up in Darkwing, I remember, a few times.
Yeah.
Because there's
But
one
it's
where
not-
he was trying to create like a Justice League type team.
Justice Ducks.
Yeah.
Justice Ducks, part 1 and part 2.
Yeah.
You had the fish, you had the duck that turned into a stegosaurus. You had the I can't remember what her name
That's
is.
gold.
Darkwing's girlfriend.
That's gold, I tell you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. They would. What you put a duck in it, it's gonna sell. That's all there was to it back then.
A
You
duck
put
and
into it.
a monkey.
Wait, Jason Alexander needs a show. Give him a show where he's a duck. It's gonna sell.
Oh, he'd
Duck
make a
Man.
good Gizmo.
Oh,
He's short and squat, got that low center of gravity.
Well, you seen Duckman, huh? The old
That was a
Duckman.
great
Can he
show.
ride a unicycle though, while in armor?
What can't George do?
Right.
George likes his chicken spicy.
Speaking of which, Festivus is coming up.
Right.
George, stop crying and fight your father.
And I'm going to use Allison as a segue into the next
know
one.
what-
I also loved
Tailspin.
Tailspin.
Yes, I like
Yes.
that one as well. I like the plane.
Kit Cloud Kicker.
I like
Don
King Louie.
Carnage. Those were names that, like, you know, they had teeth, right? His glider. Who didn't want that glider? It was equal to Marty McFly's flying skateboard, right? Which actually might have
It
come
was just
first.
cool because I mean, even though it was a little past my time, all of those shows were about adventure, you know, and
Yeah.
Yes,
traveling the
yeah.
globe and globe hopping and doing all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I mean, it was Indiana Jones. That's why it just resonated so much because that was such a huge trilogy. And I mean, when I had a chance, I would watch the stuff, but it was so few and far between. But you know, a lot of it I don't remember, but like I'm sitting here now and I'm like, okay, I'm going to pull it up on Disney Plus and watch it while I'm working. You know.
Oh yeah, it was actually one of my favorites. I actually had they used to have this thing where you could send in, you know, stuff didn't come in cereal. By the time my youth was dying, things didn't come in the cereal boxes anymore, right? But you could send off.
What were you,
these
3?
little figures? Yeah, but you could send off with these little figures, and they're like usually a set of 4. I think I ended up getting the Tailspin one, which was a Kit, Don Carnage, Baloo, and I want to say it must have been Louie, or the little girl. There was somebody had bought Baloo's delivery service. Rebecca, I don't know, like a Christy Alley type, right? So basically, she well, I mean, really, right? I mean, if you think about it, it was kind of the.
I feel like we're trying to remember the synopsis after a night of drinking. It's like I can't. Yeah, it was that bitch Rebecca. Yeah, that was what she had the Kirstie Alley hair. Yeah.
Well, you remember? Okay, so Christy Alley,
Kirstie Alley.
she basically bought it, right? She bought
Yeah.
Cheers, right? So it was basically same premise. And Baloo, come on, Baloo was freaking Ted Danson. No matter how you look at it.
I can see that.
It was
I
a
can
Ted
see that.
Danson
I
type
suppose.
I
character.
always thought he was more of
was
a
a-
John Candy type, but
If
No,
if,
the reason I wouldn't say he was a John Candy type.
if Sam Malone
he
was fat and belligerent, yeah.
Well, you see,
John Candy.
Why are you judging this? But you can't. But I'll tell you why that doesn't work though, because every time you saw John Candy usually was a different person. There would be some characters that were similar, but most of the characters John Candy played were different people.
Well, but none of them were Sam Malone.
But none of them were Sam Malone. But
No.
Sam Malone was kind of a slacker, trying to get away with whatever the case was, trying to get one over on what is Christy Alley's character's name?
Uncle Buck was kind
Rebecca.
of
I think it was Rebecca.
Sam Malone-ish.
Yeah, a little more attitude, but yeah.
Yeah, because when when his niece was in trouble, he stepped up and became Mr. Badass.
Yeah.
So
Well, okay, so let's put it this way: he was Baloo.
yeah,
He was from the Jungle Book.
Yeah.
He was the same Baloo from the Jungle Book. The only other character in that show that was not like the character from Jungle Book, and there was only 3, was probably Louie.
he was my favorite of the show. I remember.
Yeah.
The guy that
But
just
he wasn't-
spent all day at the resort drinking. Did he own
Yeah,
the
he
resort?
was-
I can't remember, or did he just
I'm pretty
I
sure.
think
hang
did.
out there? Okay.
Yeah, I think he did. I think he was the dispatch, wasn't he? Or was he the dispatch? It's been a while since I've watched it.
I don't know if they hold up. I tried to watch Darkwing Duck, and it doesn't hold up for me anymore. But
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
watch Darkwing every once in a while.
do you? I saw the new episodes of the new DuckTales where they brought Darkwing Duck, and it was an actor. And
Yes.
What?
Yes.
and the David Tennant DuckTales series on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
They did an episode where Launchpad, his favorite character is Darkwing Duck, and they were going to make a movie based off the original property, and the original Darkwing Duck wanted in on it, but he was a douchebag.
Yeah, it was Jim. It was
Yeah.
it was Jim Cummings.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, it was the
Jim
same
Cummings
voice
that played
actor,
the
yeah.
character, yeah.
And then
Which
this
is
other
That kind of makes me
guy,
mad.
And then this other guy eventually becomes Darkwing Duck, who happens to be Drake Mallard.
Yeah, I'll put it to you this way. From the first time you hear about it. However, one thing that they kept was kind of his persona.
Mhm.
You know, one thing about Darkwing Duck, and which is probably just why he's probably my favorite out of all of this.
Mhm.
Anyway, it's because he was egotistical. He was a goofball. He was clumsy and everything like that. But he was kind of an Inspector Gadget-ish, right?
Yeah.
But the deal was the difference that set him and Gadget apart. He wasn't really stupid. Like Gadget was just clueless. Darkwing would actually.
He was just always in over his head doing.
Yeah.
He wasn't prepared for any of it. He just jumped head into it. Head
Right.
first.
But there were some cases, and I think that's what I liked about what they did with the character and why he still resonates as he does, is because he wasn't just some stupid idiot. Every once in a while, he'd actually have a plan that worked. And there was even times where they got it, like the Justice Ducks, where they got it themselves over their heads and they needed Darkwing. And then there was a time where it flipped around and Darkwing needed them. It was kind of, he was a well-rounded character. And if I had known, I have a picture signed by Jim Cummings, and I did not realize that Jim Cummings was the voice of Darkwing Duck when I met him. Which
Really?
kicking myself for that. Yes.
When was that?
He was like everyone back in those
2014.
days.
2014. Yeah, pretty much.
Huh.
It didn't even dawn on me. I knew who Jim Cummings was. I've known who he was for years, but it did not dawn on me that he was Darkwing. I knew he was in the Darkwing show. I just didn't realize he was Darkwing.
2 and 2 just didn't make 4 at the time.
It didn't. Yeah, right. Anyway, Allison says, I wasn't really a kid who was into toys, but I so wanted Disney afternoon toys. Unfortunately, didn't really happen. So she drew comics. There you go. Which kind of leads me to one of the things that for that came out that was really inspiring, especially for drawing comics, was you had the Disney Adventures, and it was the digest that would sit in the aisle of of a register. It was next to the Archie Comics, right? And you wouldn't go for the Archie Comics because it wasn't as cool as the Disney Adventures. It just wasn't. I'm sorry. Whatever. If you feel like.
I drew a Darkwing Duck to be entered, to be featured in that, and I don't think it was ever in there. If it was, I don't remember. Yeah.
Yeah, because they used to have all the fan art and stuff.
Yeah, I did the Turtles magazine. I remember that was featured once, but I was disappointed about the Darkwing.
Disney, man, Disney. Yeah.
I'm surprised they did that because usually they don't like fan art of their stuff. But maybe it was different back then.
Well, back then, because here's the thing.
Serving a bunch of kids cease and desists.
Well, one thing you could say about Disney in the early 90s and the late 80s is they realized that their future was going to be children. Somehow, Iger doesn't seem to understand.
Yeah.
But he seems to think that you could control children. But you watch those shows.
You must not have any.
You
must not have any. You can't control a child.
Oh, he might have them. They just might be at private school or raised by nannies. Either way it goes. But not to say I don't know anything about Iger per se. I'm not impressed with his managerial skills.
I don't think anyone
I think he threw Chapek under the bus to do exactly what happened. But whatever. Whatever. There's like so much there to unpack, and it's like, no, I'm not getting into that Disney, Doug.
It's so funny that they've got this universe of all of these happy, cute, cuddly characters that are all about truth, justice, and being goodies, and the people that run it are just
horrible human beings.
Yes, that's true with most corporations.
Sad but true.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! So anyway, Jake's in the comments. Tailspin intro. It does still slap. It does slap. She loved it. Tailspin might have been, which I get that. Yeah, I totally get that.
Most of those are on my playlist. I'm not even gonna lie. When I come home from work, sometimes I put on a little DuckTales. It lightens your day up.
It does. Not that new version of it, though. No.
The OG.
No. Wonder how Quack Pack holds up. I didn't even know Quack Pack was a thing until this week. And does anybody else
vaguely
know what Quack
remember
Pack
it.
is?
It's the boys, right? It's the boys.
It's Huey, Dewey, and Louie, like teenagers, but they're still effing around with Donald Duck, right? They're just still screwing with him. But in fact, I featured it in the monologue. Like if you saw the Donald Duck that looked like he came out of the Happy Little Hen. And he was messing around with the older ducks. That was Quack Pack. That was something that happened towards the end. They were slowly turning the knife into the Disney afternoon at that point in time. So, but yeah, Allison was telling about Louis. He owned the bar. Jake says, Inspector Gadget, let's be real, is a mecha Constable Clouseau.
Yeah,
it's true, Jake.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah,
that checks out.
No.
It checks out, sir.
So.
Don't.
He's
turn
very
that
similar.
He
to
was
Clouseau.
no. Inspector Gadget was Maxwell Smart.
Yes, the actor.
The way that he talked.
Well, the actor, yes.
And the little pieces. No, come on. Clouseau didn't have a telephone shoe. He didn't have the little gadgets and everything else like that. I'm telling you, Inspector Gadget was based on.
Well, Maxwell Smart. Don Adams played both of them, so I can see that.
Oh, wow.
But I mean, Maxwell Smart is basically a secret agent version of Clouseau, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like James Bond and Clouseau mixed together.
Jake says, "Hey, now Donald rocking a Hawaiian shirt is the finest boomer wardrobe upgrade." Yeah, I'll give you that. I mean, he was a sailor, right? So he probably got some chlamydia. I mean, anyway.
Whoa.
Look,
no wonder he was always cranky.
Huh?
No wonder he was always cranky.
Don Adams did Tennessee Tuxedo as well.
You're right, Allison. That was a pretty cool part. I love the air pirates in that. Sky pirates. Yep. They were cool.
Sky pirates, absolutely. Absolutely. So let's go ahead and take a couple of bumps, and we'll come back and we'll talk about a certain dog that for some reason had a movie that wasn't related to the show, but it was. But, yeah. Anyway, we'll be right back.
In the middle of the night or early Friday morning, depending upon where you are in the world, a group of experienced comics professionals get together to examine and instruct about the art form that they love. That's great comic artwork on Comics by Night, Fridays at 5 a.m. Eastern, here on the Indie Comics Network, indiecomicsnetwork.com.
What was that? This is not a charade.
Hi everyone, Daphne Lage here. Join Nita, Lanning, and me on the Ragin' to the Vlogs show, where we talk about everything, nothing, and all the bits in between. Looking for hour-long conversations about indie comics, social media marketing, and crowdfunding, with the occasional rant and story time? Head on over to the Ragin' 2 channel on YouTube, Mondays through Fridays at 11 a.m. Eastern to join in the chat.
Hit the button.
Have a question or comment for us to address on the show? Have a topic you want us to talk about? Email us at indiecomicsnetwork@gmail.com. Want your comics to arrive in pristine condition? Head over to GeminiComicSupply.com and save 10% on your next Gemini mailer order or anything in the Gemini Comics Supply store. Use coupon code RAGIN10. That's RAGIN 10.
I'm looking at the chat over here. Allison said, I love Inspector Gadget because of Penny. Penny and Brain, right? I mean, Brain was awesome.
They were legit the brains of the show.
Yeah, well, when you wanted a dog, you wanted a dog like Brain. It just never worked out that way.
I always wondered if Brain was like a genetically enhanced dog or something. You know, because obviously, Inspector Gadget was enhanced, mechanically. Right. I always wondered if, Brain was like
I don't know.
genetically enhanced to be intelligent.
They might have addressed that in the live action version.
That's not the same universe.
I don't think the dog was the dog was just a dog in that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I didn't watch it. I just know Matthew Broderick was in it, and I've never been a fan of Matthew Broderick.
You watched it.
I did not.
That's in that era where
I was actually working at a video store when they came out, and I would not watch that. And I can't stand Matthew Broderick, and making Matthew Broderick Inspector Gadget is a sin. Straight up, it's a sin.
Yeah.
So you didn't like Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
I did not. I do not like John Hughes.
What?
There is very few John Hughes movies that I like. And it's very
Trains and Automobiles.
I forgot who we were talking to.
Yeah, some of those
doesn't
okay.
like anything.
Oh.
Yeah, you're the one that always tells me you hate something.
I don't hate John Hughes. He was a nice fella.
He made good movies.
But no, I was not. As far as John Hughes is concerned, I was not into The Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink.
I do think The Breakfast Club's overrated.
What else? Home Alone.
Hey, Home Alone is the greatest Christmas movie of all time.
You filthy animal.
I did not know that was a fake movie. And for years I was looking for that movie. Because this is how much of a nerd
you're like, this movie is telling me the truth. That's a legit movie.
Yeah, because it shows you how much of a nerd I am. I would always get, every year for Christmas, my aunt would give me the Blockbuster video movie guide for that year. And I tore every one of those up trying to find Angels with Filthy Souls. I was like, why isn't it in this? Why isn't it?
That's so funny.
That's pretty brilliant.
It was like,
that's the funny part. That's why C worked at a video store, was so he could actually get a hold of that tape, and he never found it. That's the real reason he doesn't like Home Alone.
That's why I don't like John Hughes, that bastard.
You lied to
that
me.
filthy animal.
I mean,
lied to
the
me.
whole thing looked like it was an actual movie.
Right.
In the movie.
Now, okay, this is kind of off topic, obviously, but was that the old guy that played the vampire Weatherman in Gremlins 2?
I don't remember.
It's been so long since I've seen Gremlins 2. I don't.
Oh my god.
It's possible. It's possible.
You want to talk about a worthy sequel? Gremlins 2. Yes, absolutely.
I don't know if it's a worthy sequel, but it's definitely a sequel.
It's definitely a sequel. This is the second movie featuring a gremlin. Oh man! So Allison in a different realm, a Penny and Kim Possible team up would be a thing. Think about it.
Maybe she grew up.
I will not think about that. My childhood is safe. It's just nerdy. Look, don't feel alone, Mitch. I am not the only one who went looking for angels with a filthy soul. That was kind of. I mean,
that sounds like a legit title, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's a Robert Rodriguez film.
Yeah, it does. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no doubt.
It does sound like something. It sounds like
now if he doesn't make it, I'm gonna feel horrible.
Grindhouse movies or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what? I know what. I know you were being sincere. You're all right, Jake. I didn't know Kim Possible. I don't know anything about Kim Possible. Kim Possible is kind of like way after my time.
I've seen the OnlyFans spoofs, but that's completely different.
It has a big cult following, much like the stuff we loved growing up. And Will Friedle does the voice of Ron Stoppable, who did the voice of Batman Beyond and was the older brother in Boy Meets World. That's as much as I know. Oh, and Kim Possible was the sister in Even Stevens. That's, again, all I know of Kim Possible.
I know the roommate that the older brother had in Boy Meets World has a completely different career now.
The girl?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the redhead.
Maitland Ward. Yeah, she does porn.
Yeah, she does. Anyway.
Oh, how.
I think there was a real film called Angels with Dirty Faces.
That's also porn. Starring Maitland Ward.
Totally, completely
ironic.
Completely shut that down. So anyway, before we went to the break, I said we were going to talk about a certain dog, a Dippity dog. And so then they come along and they decide to do Goof Troop. I was not a Goof Troop fan. I'll be honest with you. I was not a Goof Troop fan. However, they came out with the Goofy movie, and I love the Goofy movie. So,
let me tell you something. I liked Goof Troop to a point. I was getting a little too old at the time, but I liked it. But I find as a 42-year-old man with children, I relate to Goofy so much more now after the Goof Troop and Goofy movies, all those movies. I relate to him so much because I'm a goofy bastard who wants to do the best for his children and always blows up in his face. So I can relate, and I get Goofy very much. So,
have you seen there is a the show Atlanta? Sure. That's Donald Glover.
Donald Glover, yeah.
Donald Glover. You think I would know that, right? I've seen Lethal Weapon. I should know Glover. Anyway,
you're not related. You know that, right?
I know that. But I know Glover, right?
Shit.
An interesting fact is the gentleman that's in Atlanta with him was actually in a movie with Danny Glover. So you see, it kind of, which is kind of funny because he's like, you need to use your white voice. And the guy's like, what do you mean by white voice? And Danny Glover, I'm not talking about like, hey, hello, and welcome. They're like in a call center. Hello, welcome. I'm not talking about that kind of white voice. And then the whitest voice comes out of Danny Glover. Like they have somebody freaking
Donald Glover, not Danny Glover.
No,
Danny Glover is in Lethal Weapon.
Lethal Weapon, absolutely. That's what I'm saying.
I thought you were talking about the show Atlanta. Sorry.
He's acting opposite one of the guys from Atlanta. That's what I was saying.
Is it the heavyset guy that's his cousin?
No, it's not his cousin, but it's his cousin's friend.
Oh, it's the thin guy. Yeah, I know who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
You got Paperboy and I can't remember what the guy's name is. He's from Nigeria. I know that he doesn't even sound like he's Nigerian. But he's from Nigeria. And and before you say something, I work with a couple of Nigerians. So I know what they sound like. Anyway, but they did a
It
show
doesn't
on
make it any
Atlanta.
better.
Shut up. They did a show. They did a show on Atlanta. And what they did was basically they used the Goofy movie, and the Goofy movie was supposed to be like the first Black Disney movie or something like those lines. And if you have not watched this, it's funny because the animator that was the guy that was put in charge, he accidentally was put in charge because his name sounded like somebody else's name.
Can't make this shit up.
They had like Sinbad coming in there. Like Sinbad was talking about, it was wild. We'd be up at the Disney studios just hitting like lines of cocaine and all sorts of shit. If you ever get a chance to watch it, it was one of the last episodes in the Atlanta series. And it was kind of the whole documentary. I don't even think and if you watch Atlanta, you know that Donald Glover sometimes would just do random stuff out of there, you know. But it was one of those. If you ever get a chance, go watch it. But yeah, the Goofy Goof Troop didn't really do anything for me. I guess I kind of liked Pete. So maybe they should have just gave Pete a show. I don't know why they did.
They did. They put him in Goof Troop.
They put him in Goof Troop.
It was really his show because he was, trying to raise a family with a wife and a son. And this moron who lives next door to keeps, screwing everything up for him. So he really was the hero if you think about it.
But Pete was getting Goofy into trouble too, wasn't he? I mean, that was kind of he would always he'd always have advice for Goofy, kind of get Goofy into doing stuff.
Pete had these schemes, and Goofy always got the short end of the stick. So.
Yeah, I remember one episode.
Jake says, "I'll spare you from sharing the Goofy cosplayers."
I remember there was one episode that I can remember, like the only episode that I can remember in depth, where Pete finds out that he owns half of Goofy's property.
Oh yeah, I remember.
So he builds like an extension on his house that connects.
He's just a complete douchebag about it.
Then come to find out, he was looking at the map wrong, and actually Goofy owns half of his house.
Well,
yeah, but I bet you never told Goofy either, and he probably tried to manipulate something out of that too. So
no, I think it was Goofy that found out. Either it was Goofy or Pete's wife found out.
Oh, that's a possibility. So, but we're kind of winding down on the Disney afternoon at this point, right? Because Goof Troop was like probably one of the last popular shows that the Disney afternoon had, and then they started going off the freaking deep end. And so you'll see the next show, I guess, would have been Bonkers. We talked about that just a few minutes ago,
which I didn't see.
Yeah, it
was
only
a few times.
It was only one season.
Yes, it was so bad
from September of '93 to February of '94.
Yeah, but they ran that through in syndication hard though.
It was, like you said, it was basically a ripoff, or I don't know if you can just call it a ripoff, but they were trying to do Who Framed Roger Rabbit, except it was.
Is that on Disney Plus?
I don't know.
I know it was on Hulu for a while.
Not that I'll go back and watch it, but
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
I would watch it.
Bonkers.
If it's just one season, I'd probably sit and watch them all.
Possibly.
Yeah, from what I remember, it was really nothing like really memorable.
I think that's
compared to the rest of their stuff.
And I think that's why it didn't work, Mitch, and I didn't know anything about it because the one thing about the whole start of the Disney afternoon between Gummy Bears to Goof Troop, even to a point, Goof Troop was all these were original IPs for the most part. It's not original, but they took what like Jungle Book, Chip and Dale, and they turned them into their own IP. You know what I mean? So they were original for the most part. And I think the thing about Bonkers is we've seen this shit before. Why is anyone going to care? Why does this matter above anything else? And I think that's why it failed because they didn't do anything different. Well, that's why. Tailspin and Rescue Rangers and DuckTales, they all worked because it was old but new at the same time.
Yeah.
And like Rodney said, it had that. All those other ones had that adventure aspect of it, and that's what kids liked.
Well, also, Bonkers was taking off the concept of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which
I was just getting ready to say that.
As a live action movie, it worked because you saw people in cartoons.
Yeah.
But with Bonkers, it was a cartoon that tried to replicate, the real world in cartoon,
Yeah.
So it wasn't as, I guess, innovative or special as Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
It was
like live action.
Well, it was like a low budget Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
Because
let's take it. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that clip that you just showed. I saw the toaster in there from the Brave Little Toaster, and that was all around the same time Roger Rabbit came out. So they were trying to capitalize on the success of a Roger Rabbit with doing something cheaper.
Well, take in consideration this: when you went to you looked at Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and you had real life, but then you had characters like Jessica Simpson who were human. Or Jessica Simpson, what the hell?
Rabbit.
Jessica Rabbit.
I'm not sure she was human, but that's a different show.
But you had Jessica Rabbit who was human.
She's human.
But it was cartoon, right? You could put her up against herself. Now, can you imagine taking the character like Aladdin and putting him in Bonkers? How would you tell what's a human and what's a cartoon?
That was kind of the difficulty of the show, from what I remember, was because everything's a cartoon. So
it was just bonkers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bonkers. It was nuts. It was not as nuts, however, as this other show. Let me put this up here and see who can remember this. This is YouTube.
I can't even pronounce that, sir.
Marsupilami.
I've never heard of this in my life.
I remember it, but I never watched it, so I have no idea what
this is part of that Mandela effect that I don't belong in.
I remember
that. His tail kind of reminds me of that show that was in Denmark like last year about the John Dillerman, the guy with the living appendage. Living cock.
Oh God!
That's kind of what the tail kind of reminds me.
Oh, that guy's in The Boys.
Huh?
Oh my God!
There's a guy in The Boys that has a.
Let me turn this off real quick. Where is that gonna go? What's the? Oh, and here
it's the great Disney afternoon cartoon known as The Boys.
Marsupilami was it did. I don't even know if it could say if it lasted a season. It was one of those.
I've never heard of that junk in my life.
It doesn't even look like this. It doesn't look like Disney animation.
It looks like a studio pretending to be Disney animation.
Yeah, I mean,
it looks like a Belgium cartoon.
I'm familiar with it, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, I've never heard of it. That must have been my drug.
They basically are trying. They're losing people, so they're basically saying. They're trying to. Let me take it out. They're trying to basically catch up with whatever characters or anything else that's going on at that point in time. See, Disney actually had this thing where they wanted to make a cartoon out of the movies that they had, but you had like a 2-year wait before you did that.
He's a Belgian comic strip character that they bought to make a cartoon. Yeah, because I knew it because
the amount of shit
style,
Mitch knows is just astounding to me.
Because the style does kind of remind me of like that Belgian comic style. And I just guessed and looked it up. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, the kind of oval shaped head was going this way instead of that way. Well, I read a lot. That's how I know.
I do remember stuff. Disney doing that after every animated movie they would have. They would do a show, Aladdin, Hercules. They didn't do it with a lot of them, like Mulan or.
They did it with Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
They had Timon and Pumbaa.
Yeah. Well, they even had a. Didn't they have a actual Lion King proper series? Or
I don't know. They had a few.
They came out with the Lion Guard. I know is one that I think is out now, or really recently. But I don't think they had one that was just Lion King. There's
I might be
several of the straight-to-video sequels.
I might be misremembering.
But here, now, Rodney, you were saying that didn't look like Disney animation. Tell me what you think of this one. This is pretty much the death of Disney Afternoon.
Oh, Jesus.
This is Snookums and Meat.
That's not Warner Brothers?
No. This
looks
is
like
actually,
something that
this,
would come on Cartoon Network at that time.
At this point in time, it looks like as if they were competing with Ren and Stimpy.
I was gonna say, it looks like John K. style.
Yeah, there you go. See?
Yeah, right there. The Glenn Barr's backgrounds. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. And this basically falls to the point that Disney did not have enough confidence in themselves to continue to produce quality stuff. And I think one of the things that kind of helped with that is, you had... Yeah, I just recently learned about it myself. Yeah, like Allison said, I've never seen this show. Brandy and Mr. Whiskers looked rough, man. This is some Warner ass. Yeah. And that's the thing. I think they didn't have any faith in themselves. And I actually think those movies, those TV shows that were based on movies like Aladdin, Timon and Pumbaa and stuff like that, was really detrimental to it. Because when you take in consideration where you have you have Baloo. You have three of the characters from Jungle Book. You have Baloo, you have Louie, and you have Shere Khan, right? But you have them in a totally different setting than the Jungle Book, right? Somebody could watch Tailspin, really love Tailspin, never seen Jungle Book. One day somebody puts Jungle Book on, and they're kind of figuring out, why is Tailspin in the jungle? You know, is this before he
I love the whole
played?
40s jazz aspect of it. It was cool.
See, what had happened was Baloo and Shere Khan and King Louie were flying somewhere. The plane crashed, so they just had to live, as it is, completely nude. Living as animals.
Please tell me you've seen the Quantum Leap meme, right?
What? Where he's retarded?
Oh.
What?
No. Oh my gosh! Hold on.
You can't say that, Mitch.
Which I never saw that meme where he wakes up and he opens
He's retarded.
Like he looks at all the toys around, and posters, and he goes, "Am I?" And he opens the door, and it's a mentally challenged person.
Oh my! Do I have to put up another disclaimer? Damn!
I already said you can't say it, so it's okay.
Yeah.
So Dr. Baloo finds himself leaping from life to life, hoping each time that his next
yeah.
I never thought that little John from Robin Hood was Baloo, but maybe.
Well, they used the same dance sequence.
Well, I think it was Phil
they
Harris.
did that all the
was
time.
The voice. Phil Harris was the same voice.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was a jazz singer, and I think that's why. So, but yeah, that's I got a kick out of that when I said it.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
But that wasn't the weirdest thing. But there's flaws in my logic, right? Because there was also another show that they based off of a movie that I think it might have actually had a following, and I don't know why. But if you notice in my monologue, I said ducks, pucks, and chipmunks, and there was a reason for that. I wasn't covering up a cuss word, and that was for some reason somebody had a great idea to make the Mighty Ducks an animated series.
I remember this one.
I remember this, but I've never seen it.
Oh my gosh, I remember. Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, we have a hockey team. They make a hockey team out of the movie. Then they make a cartoon out of it. And they're basically from Hockey Planet, right? and so...
Yeah, they're all ducks.
They're beefcakes, right? I mean, look at all of them. They're like massive ducks.
Well, I wonder what the actual hockey team, Mighty Ducks, think about crap like this.
Well,
I don't know. They're all fictional characters, so I really don't know.
I know.
Let's ask Joshua Jackson.
Yeah,
well, but
that's
there was
what
a team.
Emilio Estevez.
Yeah.
I hate this garbage. That's not me.
But there was a hockey team that was called the Mighty Ducks.
Really?
But it wasn't. But it didn't come until after the Disney movie. So I mean, just look at it. I mean, that looks like a hairband. Just a hairband.
Very
video
unsuccessful hairband.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
anyway,
most of them.
Yeah.
I just
They-
remember like the
Tailspin-
magical mask that the leader had to wear just so happened to look like a hockey mask.
It got. Oh my gosh. Anyway, yeah. Listen, said Tailspin was inspired by Tales of the Golden Monkey. Oh, I heard of that one. Little John used a lot of keyframes that Baloo had. So in spirit, this quantum leap theory has a basis. You know, we talked to John about that, right? Why they use so many different frames. And in case anybody's watching, was because at that point in time there wasn't VHS, so they didn't think anybody was going to see it anyway, and nobody would have remembered Snow White dancing like that or whatever the case is. So
it was a lot cheaper too.
It was. I mean, animation's expensive, and Disney wasn't doing that great in the '60s anyway.
And those Marvel's animated features in the '60s had the same scenes over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Spider-Man swinging, it was all the same scene in different episodes.
Carl said, "Squeeze every dime out of those franchises before the fans come off."
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why Ralph Bakshi in his movies used so much rotoscoping. Was it was cheaper just to trace the fight scenes that way than trying to animate them.
Well, hell, Fire and Ice was pretty much all
rotoscoped.
Mm-hmm.
It's so lost with all this new stuff, Don. That's all right.
All this new stuff from 20 years ago.
That's right.
hey, if I haven't seen it, it's
20. Try again.
20, 30 years ago.
30 years ago.
Yes.
DuckTales is old enough to buy a mortgage.
Some of that it can't be 30 years old, like the Mighty Ducks that snook them and meat whatever.
The Mighty Ducks came out. I think the Mighty Ducks came out in 97,
95 or 6, somewhere around there,
something like that.
So it's old enough.
They haven't
to work
made
at a
30
strip
yet,
club.
but they're on their way. Let's see, what is it? Because it was one of the last ones. It came out in 96. Just 3 more years, Jared. Just 3 more years. We're rounding up.
So I was 16 when that pile was out.
You're not missing much, Donna. Anyway, cartoons ended in 20.
I don't know if y'all remember, but Doug became a Saturday or a weekday afternoon Disney cartoon for a short time.
I don't want to talk about that.
I vaguely remember that. Now that you said that, I vaguely do remember that.
Doug
was
was
nothing
a
like
Nick
the original.
Doug was a Nicktoon.
Yeah.
No. Doug had a
and Patty Mayonnaise.
You had a set of Nicktoons, which was Nickelodeon's original stuff. It was the first time you had Rugrats, Ren and Stimpy, and Doug. Doug was a slice of life, awkward kid. Somehow Disney decided to buy Doug from Nickelodeon, and it wasn't like, was it Billy Fry was the voice of Doug, wasn't he?
Yeah. No, I think it was
talking about Billy West.
Billy West.
Billy West, that's what I meant.
Billy West played Fry. Billy Fry sounds like an actual name.
It could be someone's name, and they're probably watching right now, going, "Dude, you just mentioned me. Awesome."
Well, there's a Stephen Fry who's hilarious.
He watches the show too.
Stephen Fry.
Yeah.
He says, "I'm still famous."
Billy West.
He's pretty famous in England.
I'm trying to find out.
Yeah, he's like that guy that was kind of like Samuel L. Jackson is over here. He's just in everything over there. You know, if the movie comes out, oh look, there's Stephen Fry.
So
you'd be surprised how much he's in American stuff too.
Yeah.
So like
I saw something the other day. I cannot remember what it is, but I was like, "Holy crap! Is that Stephen Fry?"
So it's like David Hasselhoff is like Judas Priest in Germany.
He is.
He's a rock god in Germany.
God, don't be putting that stuff up on the internet. It never goes away.
I never thought that I would ever hear the phrase David Hasselhoff is a rock god in my life at any point.
It's a fact.
He brought the wall down.
You know, the
Even
night
Hasselhoff
that
broke the wall.
the OJ chase, he was supposed to his rock concert special from Germany was supposed to be on like a network TV
Mitch's
show.
laughing and Rodney's dead serious.
Yeah, and they just totally bumped him.
Thank God for OJ Simpson.
OJ ruined the Haus life.
He made it a lot better for ours.
That selfish bastard.
Now that whole drunken cheeseburger.
You have no
incident
idea where David
means a lot
Hasselhoff
more.
would be today if OJ Simpson hadn't fucked things up for him.
He'd be on the Mount Rushmore of rock legends.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, I never thought I would say that. I
He'd
never thought I would
finally
say
be
thank
able
you
to take
OJ
the swim
Simpson in the
trunks
same
off.
sentence. Oh, okay. With that, we're leaving. We're leaving. Not a sense of
Mic drop.
See, I'm proud of being 66. I'm so freaking lucky to have lived through my youth. Time for old and boring. I don't think it's boring. House of Hulk was going to tear that wall down with Kit. So, I tore that wall
He still
down.
talks to Kit.
And people on the other side were trying to put it back up. No.
What's funny is he still talks to Kit.
Yeah, they're taking it down. Freedom! And they see
What's
David
funny is
Hasselhoff.
Kit's
Oh my
still
God!
alive. That's what's funny. As oh my gosh, what is it? Mr. Feeney?
Yeah, he's like in his 90s.
Yeah, but he doesn't look it, right? The last time I saw him, I think they did kind of a reunion thing on Girl Meets World, and
He did
saw
look
him
about 90.
Yeah, but he always looked about 90. It's a question of whether he looked the same. But anyway, let's go ahead and find out where we can find Rodney.
We're old
Next.
too.
Yeah.
I think we lost C.
Hey guys.
What's up, Rodney?
Hey, how we doing? You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and the Twitch, Rodney Fyke Art. You can also go to the Hasm YouTube channel, check me out there, as well as hasm.com, where you can check out all of our books, such as Peanut Pudding and Jelly Unchained, Roadkill Rampage, and Pitter Patter. I'm also right here on the Indie Comics Network every Thursday for Thursday Night Throwdown, 8 o'clock Eastern, as well as Saturday mornings at 10 a.m., where we sketch and just talk about the business of doing art.
Yeah, of course, we're not going to be doing that until after the first.
Yeah, we're off till after the first of the year now. Yeah,
which is sad because I'm sitting here thinking of a conversation topic this entire week, and I'm like, oh wait,
well, write it
this
down.
Entire week this past.
Such
2
a
days.
go-getter.
Hey, I know that book.
You
Oh,
still
real
have
cool
it
red
just
page.
with
Plus, I
yourself.
have a Rodney Fyke original right there.
Michael
One
Myers,
of my favorite
yes.
slashers.
There you go.
My favorite slasher at that. So anyway, where's the other guy? Let's put him up.
I'm Jared. You can find me on Facebook, Jared Lockhart 80. If you want to be friends with me, keep an eye out. Got some stuff me and C are working on. Maybe maybe you'll catch it. Maybe you won't. Who knows? Maybe you'll love it. Maybe you'll buy it. Maybe you'll love it.
Yeah. That one, however, is a little bit of a different. I'm writing that one, so we'll see. I'm not making any promises. Mitch.
Hi, you can find
Tell us
me
again where we can find you.
Find me right here at Linktree/Celtic Cross Studios. You can find my website, online store, where you can pick up one of my trades, the Boger or the Boger Southern Gothic, or both of them, if you really feel frisky. Both are available at my website.
Hold my beer.
Also, you can find my socials, everything else there.
Your social security number?
Yeah, just wait out for after the first of the year. I'll be sometime after the first of the year, I'll be launching the crowdfunding campaign for the new Boger #1. So keep an eye out for that.
Awesome. I'm gonna put this up. Imagine if Hasselhoff locks his Dementia Brain back when he shot Knight Rider. Oh man! And Allison McClone says, I will still be drawing this Friday. And next, shameless plug for Artie with Alley Cat. Yes, check it out. And Jake was wondering if he wanted her to post a link. Guess what, Jake? It's right here on the Indie Comics Network.com.
Can't wait to see that Batgirl, Allison.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Cassandra.
Right same channel. So anyway, I guess I have to do myself. So hi, I'm C Michael Lanning. I got stuff. You can check out. I did do Calico of Shard with another person who does Comics by Night. If you have not checked out Comics by Night, I love that show. They go over a lot of artists in that show. Check it out, especially the Shireko trilogy. It's up on indiecomics.com. Also, he's doing Mad's Don Martin. I kept wanting to say Dean Martin this week, so check that out. It's early in the morning, so if you can't get there live, make sure you check it on the replays. And, of course, Sunday Funnies. But with Randy Zimmerman, I have Calico of Shard, which is available on arrowcomics.store. And, of course, coming up with Rodney, I have Doghouse from Hasm Productions and a couple other things. So look for that. You can always find me at Linktree/C Michael Lanning for all the nice goodies of my Facebook. I guess there's a Twitter over there. I've decided that I'm going to actually start paying attention to my Instagram. So I think maybe I should do that. But so next week, join us for the last week of Disney December, where we're going to be talking about the dangers of being Walt Disney. To get real with you guys for a moment, there was some good things about Walt Disney. There were some bad things about Walt Disney. And he kind of had his own world. And I'm not just talking about Disney World, which I guess, yeah, he had Disneyland. Anyway, but join us as we kind of go over Disney's life and maybe the ups and downs and the do's and don'ts. And maybe we can glean from that and learn what we can do. So with that, folks, I'm going to say until next week, everybody say goodbye.
Avita said
Goodbye.
Ciao, man.
Feliz Navidad.
Yes, absolutely. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, all the good stuff.
Happy
no, thank you.
Fear is a tool. When the sound is heard, it's not just a call. It's a warning.
Lee, hands up!
Who is he?
A scientist. He was trying to save the trees from humanity. Humanity needs to be saved from him. And the trees.
No matter how many times you stomp us weeds, we always grow back.
What have you done?
Maybe we're not so different. Who are you under there?
I'm a duck.
Let's get dangerous.